Before the first call comes in, before the city begins to move, there are men and women already preparing for the responsibility they have chosen to carry. They are their officers. They are the investigators. They are the specialists and professionals of the Dallas Police Department. Individuals who step forward each day knowing that service requires sacrifice, courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. In our new series, When Dallas Calls, we go beyond the uniform and beyond the calls for service to introduce the people who make up the department. Through their stories and through their experiences, we take you inside the specialized units, their mission, and the mindset of those who answer when the city needs them most. These are the men and women who rise before dawn, put on the uniform, and proudly wear that iconic Dallas Police badge, not simply as an emblem, but as a promise to protect, serve, and stand ready in moments of uncertainty. When Dallas Calls is more than a series about what they do. It is a tribute to who they are, their stories, their dedication, and the legacy they continue to build every day. Because every call has a story, every badge carries a responsibility. And when Dallas calls, they answer. Homicide, Sergeant Hearn, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Chief Comeaux, welcome back to the mic.
Always happy to be here.
I want to give the listener, this is going to be the first recording we do when Dallas calls. It was an idea, actually by Chief Comeaux, to kind of highlight some of our units and some of our individuals that are working those units, to kind of give them a stage to talk about what's going good, what's going wrong, if any, and we just wanted to have a conversation about just the state of the department, but also give everybody an opportunity to brag on themselves.
Well, not just to brag on themselves, but to let the world know what DPD is doing.
And one of the premier units in our department is the Homicide unit.
Yes, sir, it is.
Sarge, can you tell the listener a little bit about yourself, how long you've been on, and some units you've worked, and where you're at now?
Okay. I'm Eric Hearn Jr. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man,
yes,
the only thing they have in Jackson is catfish and crime. That's it. They don't have a movie theater. They don't have a skating ring. They don't have a mall.
Well, Chief, that's why I'm here now.
Yeah, he couldn't wait to get here.
Absolutely.
But I love Jackson.
Absolutely. That's love. That's my home.
I lived over 2 years in Jackson, and I absolutely love Jackson. I love the people. But, man, catfish and crime, that's the number two. That's the top two things they have.
Good cooking, though.
Yeah.
Very good cooking.
I gained weight while I was there.
Absolutely. My parents, Eric and Patricia Hearn, they're my parents. They're originally from Jackson, Mississippi as well. And I just want to take a minute to give them their flowers, because everything that I am today, the man that I am, is because of the foundation that my parents instilled in me. I'm the youngest of three. I have two sisters. My oldest sister, Erica, she's a teacher, and she's actually about to get married next month. And my other sister, Tiffany, she's married. She has two kids, Bailey and Brennan. She is a nurse practitioner. I love her to death. I love both of my sisters. I love my family a lot. I went to Clinton High School. At Clinton High School, I played football, and I was in the show choir called Attaché. That actually took me to Southern Miss, where I did have a full scholarship for show choir, dancing and singing, but I elected to play football. And football led me to Southern Miss University. I ended up going to Southern Miss. I majored in criminal justice, a minor in Spanish, and that's where I built my foundation. Also, while I was at Southern Miss, I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the best fraternity.
The wrong 1911.
The best 1911. Yeah. And this brings me to my why. I have two boys, Eric Hearn III. He's 11 years old. He'll be going to the 6th grade this year. This is my why. And my youngest son, Aiden Connor Hearn. He's actually 4 right now. He'll be 5 in September. And this is why I strive to continue to thrive and do more and challenge myself, because of my kids. I love my kids to death.
Well, they're your legacy.
Yes, they are. They are. Absolutely. Absolutely. In 2012, I applied for Dallas Police, and I got hired on, started the academy in March 2012. And I've been here now for 14 years. I started my patrol off in South Central Patrol, where I stayed there, met a lot of good people, a lot of good trainers, built that foundation, that core foundation of being a police officer there at South Central Patrol, where I then branched off to Knock and Talk. Joe, I don't know if you. I
remember you being there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's when I first met you.
Yes, sir. I went to Knock and Talk. I stayed there for a while. At the time, we had Chief Brown, and we transitioned to a violent crime task force called Crime Suppression. I ended up going there for a while. Then I transitioned back to South Central, where I was in CRT unit. I stayed there for a while, and then I was highly recommended to go back to narcotics, to our uniform officer, uniform patrol in narcotics. I stayed there for a while until I promoted. Once I promoted senior corporal, I ended up going to Southwest. I did principal FTO at Southwest and South Central Patrol. Then that led me back to narcotics as a undercover capacity, undercover detective. And I stayed there for, a couple of years, a year or two. And then that transitioned me to Capers, where I then went to SIU and Homicide. And I stayed there for approximately 4.5 years. And I think my time in Capers, that really instilled everything that I need to know to prepare me for where I'm at right now. I stayed there for about 4.5 years. Then I promoted to sergeant. I was sent to the Dallas County Jail. And, a lot of people might complain about the jail and everything, but, I actually learned a lot from my short time there. And I'm very appreciative of that time. I stayed there for a while, and then I'm now in Homicide. I'm a homicide sergeant, and I've been there for almost 3 years now, and it's been a blessing. It's been a good ride.
So I have one question for you, and I don't want to make this podcast too easy for you, because I'm sure you're going to try to ask me some tough questions too. But we have to understand there's many Dallas officers listening right now, all right? And there's one thing that you said that stuck out to me. You talked about South Central and Southwest for you. Who has better officers, South Central, Southwest, or Southeast?
God, Chief, you go put me.
I want to know, is Southeast better than South Central and Southwest? That's what I want to know now.
So let me say this. I have love for both. However, I spent majority of my time at South Central, so I'm in debt to South Central. I love South Central.
So you're telling me South Central is better than Southeast? That's what I want to know.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, sir.
I'm just curious.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah, it seems like it's said without any experience at Southeast, but I'll leave that alone.
All right, I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm. I knew that was coming.
Yes, sir.
You saw me smacking him right as he started. I was like, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Yes, sir.
I have a quote here from you.
Okay.
You said, Danny Comeaux is no talent and can't hit a curveball.
Oh my God!
You know what? I'm sorry. This
I didn't see that coming.
This is another. That's from some other guest. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chief. That was not him.
Chief, I wouldn't do you.
I would hit. I would hit it if it's hanging. If it was a good one, I probably would swing and miss.
All right. I want to. Okay. Now it's a chance to give your great unit. Dallas Homicide is a historic unit, and it has been since I've been here. Can you talk about the type of investigations you work?
Well, you're right, Joe. I'm glad you said that. The Dallas Police Homicide Unit is one of the richest premier units on the department. We do a multitude of different things. Obviously, we investigate murders, capital murders, murder for hires. Not only just with murders, we investigate unexplained deaths, natural deaths, accidental deaths, and suicides. So any death that comes out in Dallas, we have, especially the sergeants, we answer every single death call in the city of Dallas.
Yeah. So, that's unique. A lot of people only think that you work just another human murdered another human, and you handle the unexplained deaths.
Yes, sir.
Which we have several in our city. To some of it's due to the inclement weather.
Yeah, inclement weather. I tell you, drug overdose also. That's probably been a big thing going forward right now with a lot of our unexplained deaths. So yeah, that's definitely been a problem.
You definitely seen a rise in that.
Yes,
with the fentanyl. We had on Detective Bacon, and he talked all about the overdose squad and how that started up, because before homicide solely work those.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we do partner with the overdose unit and
Phenomenal job.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you talk about some notable cases?
I don't, without going into too much information, but we had a case that comes to my brain right now. This case took place on Channel 1. I think it was very, caught my attention in a lot of ways because it was dealing with elderly. And I think when you're dealing with elderly or kids, that's something that sticks with me still to this day. This individual called in a 6X, basically stated that his grandmother or his great aunt stated that she was unresponsive and didn't know why she wasn't moving or anything like that. Well, the remarkable thing about it is that the call held for a while because he didn't say that she was dead. He knew she was dead, but he didn't say it. We came out to the location. We realized that everything that he stated, it wasn't what the evidence pointed out to. We got there. The complainant, she was elderly. I think she was approximately almost 80 years old. Had to be around 80 years old. She was laying on the floor. It was a dresser pulled over her. It looked like it was a scuffle. It looked like she was severely beaten to death. And at that time she said, the nephew stated that she only fell and, but she had a whole bunch of bruising marks on her. Now, after talking to him, we found out that he was the caretaker of her, and he basically stated that, he was feeding her and she didn't want to eat. She had, urinated on herself, and he was just getting tired of being the caretaker. So I think he took his emotional side and started, to abuse her. And this wasn't just a one-time thing. This was across over a period of time.
Yeah, it wasn't like an instant of rage.
No, this has been going on. So he ended up calling his brother and stated, told his brother to come over to the apartment because he thinks something had happened. Once his brother get there, he see that, his great aunt was severely beaten, and, he immediately told him to call police. So he waited 3 hours before he even called his brother, before he even called police, So I think that sticks out to me. And then one other case, notably, that sticks out to me, we don't deal a lot with arson cases. This is a big case. This happened in October of 2025, down on Channel 2 at Eastwood. Basically, and I don't want to go too far into details, but this one really resonated with me because, it was personal, because it involved a multifaceted of different things that took place, dealing with, siblings, causing to do a murder for hire, and killed his sister, basically. She was burned alive. Her and her dog were burned alive in a trailer home. And a lot of things impacted this case, and it really took the whole unit, the whole homicide unit, to actually pitch in and actively work and solve this case. And I just want to say to the lead detective, he's my detective, Kenneth Castro, and all homicide unit detectives that's been a part of this case, they did a phenomenal job on it. And it's still going on right now. And hopefully by the time this airs, it'll be the final arrest.
So one of the things that first struck me about homicide when I got here, and it was shortly after I became the chief, right. We had one murder, and I remember it was a homeless person that was murdered, and then I don't remember exactly, but several days later, or a week later, we had another homeless person that was murdered. And, look, me being away from the streets a long time, but being up in the chief seat, I said, oh boy, that kind of made me a little nervous.
Right.
And so I started talking to the other chiefs, and next thing I know, I was called out on the scene for a search warrant, and homicide had located the individual that had shot the second person from a picture that was shot from the first person, and they used the technology of the flock cameras to track him down. And I think that was the very first time I met you.
Yes, sir.
But it was super impressive to me to see how fast and how quick that case worked and moved. Yes. And basically the homicide unit stopped a serial killer from being here.
Absolutely.
Do you remember that day?
Yes, sir, I do. I absolutely do. My squad we wasn't on that case, but one of my detectives was, you stated that it was two different separate murders that was involved. And the first one was with my squad. So that's how we interlinked it and found out that it was related to it by Flock and everything. We put 2 and 2 together. That was a very interesting case. Actually, it was the sign.
Well, you know what he just said? He almost got himself in trouble, because then I started wondering, well, wait a minute, why did we have 2 different squads on one homicide scene?
Yeah,
but he bought in the fact that they
Yes.
worked the first one, because I was going to have questions.
Yes.
But
yeah. You watch yourself.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Well, doing these cases, we've had on Detective Isom multiple times, and other retired homicide detectives. And one thing that strikes me from having a detective on Navarro that worked in the 90s,
Yeah.
we had our most homicides in the city of Dallas during like a 3-year stretch in our history. They don't have the technology that you guys have now to put these postals together. And Chief mentioned the flock cameras. I mean, there's Ring cameras. Everybody's got a high def recorder in their hands. I mean, there's so much out there. And just in the short time that you've been in capers as a detective, and then also now being a supervisor, how much has technology changed the game?
Oh, technology is everything. I would say for a vast majority of our cases, technology is how we solve our cases. Also, you have witness cooperation that helps, but technology is everything. We have a variety of different things that we have. You have facial recognition now, Flock, geofence, Peregrine. That's a new data program that we have now. I think it's really going to be very influential to a lot of cases, not only just for homicide, but a multitude of different investigative units. Technology is everything. We solve a lot of our cases utilizing technology.
So in talking about solving cases, I want to jump around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I don't understand, I want you to educate me on.
Yes, sir.
Is the clearance rate. So right now, I'm hearing that we have a 90%, 90+% clearance rate in homicide, but I don't understand how you get to that number.
Yes, sir. Okay. So right now, as we speak right now, we have a 81% clearance rating right now, this year, 2026. But we also have a 85% solved clearance rating. And the solved is, that's meaning that we have an arrest warrant out. They just haven't been arrested, but we do have an arrest at large warrant out for them. All right. So when you're talking about the 90%, I would go into details. If you add in the murders that we have cleared from prior years, we're at 103%.
Well, and that's the part. And so that's the number. I think it was 90-something% last time I heard it. So how can I explain we're clearing 103% clearance? That's the part that's confusing.
We're overachievers.
Yeah, well,
we are.
Yeah,
we are.
But it makes the regular person say, well, wait a minute, how can you clear 103% of murders?
Right. I think, and let me tell you, Harold Varner, he does an outstanding job with keeping all this data up to date, up to par. He is far none. He does everything for us, including our numbers. He keeps up with data, everything from all the metropolitan large cities. He's able to track all of that information. But we do solve a lot. I would say out of the top 7 largest metropolitan, departments throughout, the United States, we're number 2 as far as the highest percentage clearance rating right now.
Okay, so I think I understand a little bit. So what you're saying is you come at 103 because it might be because you solved the murder from 2, 3, 4 years ago, but that number goes on the 2026 stats.
It'll continue
as
to go
solving.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so that's the part that's a little confusing.
Yeah.
But I get it now.
Yeah,
and
it's fascinating.
I just want to say this also. I think to be at 81% clearance rating, 85% solve rating, as far as population of Dallas as it is, that's phenomenal. You don't see that too much. You can look at
it is. But here's one thing that I want to put out there, and I'm not trying to put down homicide in this, and it might come across that way, and I'm not. But one of the things that I think that's happening in Dallas, because of what the police department is doing and how the police department is patrolling and being the most proactive police department in the United States, we're not seeing this random murder on the corner. you're seeing a lot of murders where people know each other.
Right.
Which
I
then
agree.
helps you solve those murders. And I think it's one of the things that just shows that the city's being safer.
Yeah,
The city's
I
safer.
agree. I agree with that, Chief.
That
I
brings me
agree
to a
with
good point here. As a detective, these guys aren't just investigators, right? They have to actually be able to communicate. So it's not just looking at data and trying to figure out what happened. They have to go out and communicate. Now, we've got a lot of technology in Dallas,
that. Right.
but you can't replace the ability to communicate with all walks of life when you're dealing with witnesses.
Right.
Talk about the challenges that you guys come into with just trying to communicate with people. I mean, we have a very diverse city.
Yeah, it's very diverse.
And we've
You're
got
right.
a fantastic group of detectives that manage to seamlessly walk in and out of those different walks and just work with everybody.
Absolutely. And all detectives in homicide, they're phenomenal. You know, they're the cream of the crop, just like you said before. They do a great job. It's really a partnership. You know, it's a partnership between us and the citizens of Dallas. You know, you have to, we are very dependent on having the witnesses or the citizens of Dallas to cooperate in these investigations because we need them, you know, in order to solve these cases. You know, I think when I was younger on the department, you know, when I was in patrol, I never understood when, you know, our chain of command would always say, get out. And, you know, I think I listened to you and Joe, first podcast when you first got here, you said that you wanted officers to give out their number so they can call. Instead of calling 911, they can call you to have a personal connection. I think that resonates, and that means a lot. So when it comes to solving cases, you have to have ability and diary about yourself to be willing to talk and have a connection with the families. And I think that resonates a lot.
Does it help that you look like a model straight out of GQ every day?
Well, so to that point, I was sitting here just wondering, and look, I just wrote a note right here. You can see what I wrote. I wrote shirt. I just want to know how long it takes you to take that shirt off, because that thing looks like it's glued onto him.
Hey, if he walks around women, you got to hold on to that shirt.
Oh my well, so
Look at this guy.
here's something that he talked about earlier, and some of the listeners won't understand this and know this, but he pledged one fraternity, I pledged another fraternity. The fraternity that he pledges, he probably fights for mirror time with his wife. He pushes his wife out of the mirror so he can see himself. You know, like that's. But look at him.
I know. Look at
I can promise you, his mirror is clean.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is.
Well, his wife doesn't get mirror time; he takes it.
You don't see him too often when he just looks like he's dead tired, right? But I know you guys put in days where you don't go home. But even then, the next morning, you still look like straight out of the closet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a skill to that? Is that something you guys practice up there?
It's not a skill. I think it started, just like I stated before when we first started, it starts from that foundation, you know, that foundation growing up, my family, you know, it just starts from that foundation. I think you look apart, you look to part, you know, you stay professional. I think people would see you in a sense as being professional and know what you're doing, know what you're talking about. I don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You know, I don't. And I'm not. But I am confident in myself, but humble, you know.
So let me ask you a question. Is there a thing in Dallas Homicide where you guys talk about the white shirt?
That is a thing. That's a rich history.
Tell the history about that if you don't mind.
So ever since I've been on the department, that's what I've been told. You know, everybody know when the white shirts come to a scene, that's homicide. You know, it's homicide SIU, you know, hands down. It's been a rich history since dating back to the 1930s.
Yeah,
right?
It goes back to Captain Fritz.
Yeah.
He was Captain Fritz when he left the department. He did 49 and a half years on DPD, and he was over homicide when the president was assassinated. And he had all of his detectives wear white button-down dress shirts and a Stetson hat. And that was their look for many years. It was almost like it really was like a look of a Texas Ranger. And they continue that tradition today.
Well, I definitely noticed it in homicide. Every time I walk around, I see the white shirts walking around.
Thank you.
That's
it's noticeable.
history. That's our history.
And our citizens, they recognize it too. They notice it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, there's no more like the old, look of the tan trench coat and fedora. I've seen you though in a little hat.
I was sitting here wondering about him and the Stetson though.
He needs to bring it back to Stetson.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
I don't even know if he has a Stetson. I'll bet it's custom.
Oh man.
So now we have Chief here. Can you talk about the caseload? And also I want you to use this opportunity, like if you anything you ever wanted to ask the Chief directly, here we are.
Okay. Well, I'll start off with the caseload. Not only, we have 4 squads in the homicide unit, and we're on call. Each squad is on call every 3 weeks. And during that 3 weeks, that 1 week period, you are assigned, you respond, detectives respond out to a multitude of different things, not only just murders, accidental deaths, suicides, unexplained deaths, a plethora of things. So throughout that week, as a sergeant, it's our job to send out these guys, our detectives. Not only they're getting murders, but they're having to work unexplained deaths, the suicides and the unexplaineds. So they're getting anywhere between, I would say, 7 to 10 cases per month, 7 to 10 cases per month. And not only are they having to ensure that they're working these murders and these different investigations, they're having to keep in contact with the families of these unexplained deaths, suicides. They're having to keep up to date on their notes, follow up leads, and waiting on autopsy reports and, communicating with the district attorney's office. So these guys are constantly busy, constantly overworked. It's a lot of work that goes into being a homicide detective.
I can see that, and I'm happy we have less murders now than we had before.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to keep that number going down. So I do want to give you an opportunity to talk about, you better mention your unit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, I say that the homicide unit is the cream of the crop. I think, the homicide unit is the most elite, one of the most elite units on the department. And it shows, these detectives, it's a plethora of, veteran detectives and young detectives. These guys are very skilled at what they do. And I think they're passionate at what they do. And, I say this word, loosely, but you have to be intentional about what you're doing with homicide. You have to want to have a connection to bring justice to that complainant's family, that victim's family. And I think it takes a special person. Not only takes a special person to, look at deceased person, but you have to have an interconnection with the case.
Look, you use the word intentional.
Yes.
You don't only need to be intentional to be a homicide detective. Every officer need to be very intentional about their career.
Absolutely.
Understand, know what you want to do, and figure out how to get it.
Yes.
And how to get it is by being intentional.
Yes. I agree. Well,
because reputation matters.
It does.
It matters at every rank and every unit. If you get a bad reputation, it's extremely hard to shake.
It is. I agree.
And I'll say when this Dallas Call series, when I start dropping these, they're going to see the different names and different units, and I'll say that this Chief, there is a reason that the people that I picked were picked, because they are intentional professionals.
Yes.
And they make our department look good.
I thought you picked this one just because you dress as well.
Well, there was that too.
Yeah, okay.
I was hoping. I told him to wear sweatpants.
Oh
today.
my God.
He just almost threw up when he said
Yeah.
that.
He's like, no, that's what Chief wears, not me.
I want to piggyback off what you said, because it does start. I think it starts with patrol. I think, the murder rate is down. Although the population is steady rising in Dallas, the murder rate or the crime rate is going down. And I think that's a phenomenal job based off our patrol, what we're doing out in the streets, because that's ultimately where we get our crime at, homicides. But if we're getting lower homicides, that means there's something that they're doing in patrol that's doing right. So I just want to take a moment to give them their flowers on that standpoint.
And I agree with you. And I think and one of the things that I want to do is continue to uplift patrol here. We talk about it all the time. And sometimes the culture gets, patrol gets kind of knocked down. But patrol has more officers in it than any other division. And it's the most important part of any police department.
They're the face, yeah.
They are.
Yeah, they're the first person that shows up when 911 calls.
Yeah.
And they have to deal with everything.
Yeah.
Like some units, they deal with just like a type of investigation, but they have to deal with absolutely everything. They got to know who to call when they need to call. They have to worry about a lot of things.
Yes, sir.
You better mention your unit.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I want to name out my detectives.
Absolutely.
So I start with my most senior, Ronald Kramer. He's a phenomenal detective. Been on the department for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I got Jake Morgan. He's an awesome detective. Love him to death. I have David Grubbs. David Grubbs, he is something else. We actually just had a murder
He might be competing with you for best dress, though. Yeah, that guy.
Grubbs is something else. And although Grubbs and Isom, they're in cold case, but they still are, pretty much assigned to me. And, we go out on murders and everything. So I'm very thankful to have them in my squad.
Good detectives.
Very good detectives. Also, I have Fernando Silva. He's about to promote to sergeant. Very good. He's my only Spanish-speaking detective. Chief.
He looks at me like I need another one.
Yeah, I saw that. Like,
I say it, but
don't believe that. Ron Kramer speaks a little bit of Grove Spanish.
A little.
Why were you putting your finger in Chief's face? No,
Noel Morez. He's probably one of my youngest detectives, and he's up and coming, man. He is really good. He's really good.
He's a nice guy. He really he likes the show too. I know that. So shout out Noel.
Yes, he do. And Kenneth Castro.
Yes.
Very good detective, very thorough. And that arson case that I was just talking about, he's the lead detective on that. And, he did a phenomenal job on the case. And I want to take this opportunity, not only, yes, I am the sergeant that's on this right now, on this platform. I'm very thankful. But the whole entire homicide unit, every single detective in homicide, I think they are the best at what they do. And they are phenomenal. And not only just the detectives, each sergeant, we have 4 squads in homicide, and each sergeant are phenomenal.
So you know what I heard as a chief? Chief, we have enough bodies down there. Don't mess with us. Leave us alone.
Did y'all hear that?
That's what I heard as a chief. Thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, wait till this airs.
Oh, my God. That wasn't the plan.
We might have a homicide in homicide.
Yeah.
That wasn't the plan. Sorry, guys.
we'll do your name honor though.
Absolutely.
We'll remember you well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Snappy dresser and great person, but
sir,
he didn't get his extra bodies.
He did not get his extra bodies.
We're trying.
But let me ask you this: so there's, we're getting near the end of this, but I want to give you the opportunity. So, what would you like to ask Chief? You've listened to his episodes, I know.
Absolutely.
Even the one with the recent with Haley. So
yes, that was a good one, by the way. That was real good.
So now that you got Chief in front of you and you have a microphone, other people are going to be listening. What would you want to ask him?
Chief, I would want to ask you, since that you have the federal partnership and now the law enforcement side of it, what do you think the most challenge aspect for you coming in from the federal aspect of it to now the law enforcement state side of it?
And I'm getting asked that a lot, and I give the same answer pretty much every time. It's not a big difference, because from the chief level, it's about leadership. It's about running the team. It's about being able to understand what everyone needs to do their job. And it was the same thing on the federal side. I wasn't doing cases any longer. I did 6 years on the executive level on the federal side, and this is executive level here. So the most important thing to me is to figure out how to make sure every unit, every team can function and work. So when it comes to leadership, it's not a huge difference from the federal side to the local side, because it's the leadership.
Right.
Now, obviously, being a local police officer is different than being a federal police officer. And what I'm trying to do is blend what I've learned from my almost 28 years on the federal side, and now my going on 8 years on a local side, counting my Houston PD time, and figure out how to make us the most proactive police department in the United States, but also the most aggressive police department in the United States when it comes to putting the worst of the worst in jail. And I think that's one of the things that I bring from the federal side. On the federal side, you're not reactive. Everything is very proactive. And that's what I want us to do. I want us to stop crime before it happens. So like when we're talking about certain units, I want them to go out and put the worst of the worst in jail before they can commit a crime.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I'm really having fun doing, blending the two together.
That's awesome.
You got another one for me?
Also,
look, he's like, I got a list of them.
Yeah.
You provided this fantastic book, The Active Sport of Leadership. What would you say, me as being a young, inspiring, upcoming supervisor on this department, what would you say that can help me propel to carry out my career long term?
If you're not willing and ready to die at the position you're at, you will not be a good leader, because you won't make good decisions based on what needs to be done. And too many times people are worried about, what is it going to take for me to go to the next level? Well, what it's going to take for you to go to the next level is to take care of the position you're at now, take care of the officers that you're working with now and not worry about, well, if I don't do this, if I don't do that, I won't be noticed or I won't be seen. You have to be willing to die at the position you're at now in order to continue to travel.
With that word intentional be come in?
It's one of the most important words, and you'll see it in the book over and over.
Yes, sir. I can't wait to read it.
I have a feeling he heard a podcast and tried to use my word.
I think he's a student of the game. Yeah, I can't say I blame him.
He's sharp enough to figure that out.
I'll take his downloads and listen too. All right, Sarge. So, this department, the city, as you said, is steadily growing. Our department is trying to grow, and our recruiting unit is doing an amazing job of packing these academy classes. Yes. So manpower is an issue for every unit. It always will be, because this city is growing at such a fast rate. What would you say about the manpower issue to Chief?
Well, I think the manpower it's not only just an issue to the homicide unit, and I'm very aware that we're low staff everywhere. But with that being said, I think every officer on this department, and not only just in homicide, we are intentional. We do care about what we do. We care about our work. I did throw out detectives being low staff in my unit and everything, but at the end of the day, we're still solving cases. We're still coming to work. We're still being intentional about what we do every single day to what we care about to the citizens of Dallas. However, we would like the extra detectives.
Here it is.
So let me tell you this. So the first year of me being here, I had some priorities. Mm-hmm. One was recruiting. So with the recruiting numbers right now, we have more officers now than we've had in the last 12 years. So I'm really extremely happy about that. The other part that I was challenged with is retention. We had less officers leave the department this year than we've had over the last 10, 12 years also. And another thing I was challenged with is to make sure that response times go down. Our priority ones are down 23%, priority twos are down 25%, priority threes are down 55%, and priority fours are down 50%. Now, in this upcoming year, the next thing we want to do is try to right size some of the divisions. And that is something that we're actively looking at right now. I will not make any promises to you about getting you more bodies, because I think y'all are doing a phenomenal job, like you stated here earlier. Yeah. And but I will tell you, in year two, and everybody needs to know this in the department, year two, now we're looking at right sizing the department. And what I mean by right sizing the department, we're going to look at every division, see how it's functioning, see how many arrests are coming from each division, and figure out what's the right amount of officers that needs to be in each division. Right. And now with us coming off of FIFA, we had stopped movement for a while because we had FIFA. And we also, and I'm still understanding and trying to learn the bid process. So we just had a bid and coming off of FIFA, and now we have some upcoming promotions that are about to happen. And all in that same process, we're going to be looking at right sizing the divisions. That's so awesome. You will see an uptick in some divisions. And in some divisions, we'll see some numbers getting cut from them also. Right. So productivity matters. Production matters. Right. So we'll be taking a look at all of that.
Thank you.
Sergeant Hearn, before we get to the end of this deal, I give you a hard time. I rib you every once in a while about looking sharp. But yes, sir. You and I showed up at South Central right about the same time.
Yes, sir.
And I remember you back then because your uniform was squared away.
Yes, sir.
You've always been a professional. Every step of your career that I've watched you go, you've been an absolute professional, and I appreciate that. And I just wanted to let that be known. I do give you a hard time, but I recognize that you are a professional and you are intentional with the acts that you're doing, and even down to the clothes that you're wearing and how you put yourself together every day. Yes, and I want to let you know that I appreciate it.
Thank you. That means a lot.
But one thing he needs to up is his sock game. His sock game is weak. I just want to put that out there like that. Well, his sock game is weak. The polo, that's weak game right now. If you don't, that's weak. I'm going to buy you a pair of socks, and I'm even going to make them new black. I'm going to bring you a pair.
Okay,
that's, I appreciate it. I want to see him wear them too. His sock game's weak.
I'll wear it.
Sergeant Hearn, thank you for being here with us. This is you're the first one of several of these When Dallas Calls episodes comes out, and you're kind of with the guinea pig. Now we have other people coming in, and now we have kind of like a loose template of how it's going to go and what to expect. Right. Thank you for being the first, but I want you to take this opportunity to not only put out a job opening for homicide, the chief fills any openings, any young officers out there, if they are looking to become a detective in Dallas homicide, I want you to be the recruiter right now. What would you tell them?
I would tell any young inspiring officer on this department that continue to strive for every goal that you want to. I think come to work every day, treat people the way that you want to be treated, be passionate about your job, be intentional about your job. And I think coming on to the department as a young officer, I had those veteran officers who instilled in me what now I'm instilling to younger officers to this day. I think it's very important to have mentorship. Mentorship is everything, and I think once you grab a hold of somebody, regardless of whatever you want, whether it's SWAT, traffic, anything, just have a niche of what you want to do. Continue to strive for greatness, and you'll be there. And I think we're ultimately, with the homicide unit, that's the cream of the crop. But I think starting from assaults to robberies, sex assaults, family violence, all those investigative units, that's very imperative. And I think that will help you streamline to come into homicide one day.